examples listed there, whether our conservation projects, our emissions reduction projects, air quality, or water recycling, disclosing our hydraulic fracture fluid. Those are just some of the ways in which we're committed to environmental compliance. Just a snapshot of what we do. So that's all for the PowerPoint. Thanks for sitting through it. I'm not sure if any of you have questions. I'd be more than glad to answer them, or have anybody representing Range also help answer them.
Josh, can you go back to the setback exhibit for the Schultz? I think the fact that the township line, that'd be nice to just point out where that.
Sure, that's a good point. Is this the exhibit, Carl? Okay. Yes, so for the Schultz location, and you may have noticed this from looking at the site plans, the site itself actually starts in Mount Pleasant Township. And when we enter the site, we're going to enter through Mount Pleasant Township. But the pad itself is in Cecil Township. Any questions? Carl, did you have anything else? No? Okay.
You're with Lemon Smith Solvay. Correct. Can you give us a take on the letters that you provided reviewing the documents?
First off, let me introduce myself. My name is John Heil, for those of you that don't know or remember me. So we did a review for both applications and provided a letter dated June 17th. This is the last letter we provided. We've been working with the applicant to address comments. We'll start with the Conditional site. There are 8 comments remaining. 3 to 4 of those comments are actually more administrative. Regarding the excavation grading ordinance, the applicant has indicated they'll submit the grading permit application, physical permit application, once the conditional use is approved. The applicant has indicated that a geotechnical report was provided with the application. Somehow we didn't get that in the submission. We'll work with the township to make sure that gets reviewed and ensure that the slope stability is addressed. And then bonding, postal bonding once they've been approved. Under the stormwater review, there are a few items the board needs to be aware of. First and foremost is they're proposing what's called a wet pond, which means the bottom of the pond will hold water. The ordinance requires all ponds be dry, so the Board of Supervisors will have to issue a waiver for that item, depending on any recommendations from this planning commission. Second item on stormwater is the plan proposes the use of HDPE plastic pipe through the embankment of the pond. The ordinance requires smooth steel or reinforced concrete pipe. So that item should be addressed. Third comment, and for this site, this is probably one of the more important comments. The way the analysis was done for the stormwater management, they assumed the wet pond was dry when they did the railings. So they used the volume of the area where water would be sitting when a storm event would come through. Well, the problem with that is it's a wet pond. It's going to be wet most of the year. So you just lost volume that you're assuming is there. So it's a good chance that the storm event may not function properly, and you have flooding, failure of the pond, or an acting of the emergency spillway when it shouldn't. So that, I believe that needs to be addressed. And then there's just a simple note that needs to be added to the plan for the ordinance for stormwater management, and then the O&M agreement needs to be signed once everything's in place. And that's the comments for the Conditional site. For the Schultz-Bernard site, the first 3 comments are the same comments regarding the excavation grading ordinance, bonding, grading permit application, and providing the geotech report. For stormwater management, same situation, it's a wet pond, so they need to get away from council. Again, for this one, they're proposing the watertight CPP pipe instead of the concrete or steel pipe. One of the issues with using plastic pipe of this type, there are two types of plastic pipe out now. There is a standard black plastic pipe that everyone sees being done around. There's now called HP, high performance plastic pipe. The manufacturer recommendations do not support bedding with the standard black plastic pipe in soil. You're supposed to embed your pipe around, through the embankment upon soil, not stone, so the water doesn't follow the stone through the embankment, creating potential failure. The HP plastic pipe does permit bedding with soil. So these are all proposed as regular plastic pipe, and again, the ordinance requires either steel or concrete because of the whole compacting of the soil and not stone bedding. Item 3 on this, we believe there's a typo on the plan, it's either the plan or the report. One references 56.5, one references 57. Simple typo needs to be addressed. Calculations for the analysis was done for a 25-year event, and the ordinance requires a 100-year event. And that's the same for conveyance, that's for channel and conveyance systems. I just need to provide additional calculations to show that is acceptable. And then the same thing with the cross pipe underneath the access road. And then the last item is the O&M agreement.
If I could, Blake Lucas, on behalf of Range. Basically, we acknowledge that there are certain permits that if we get zoning approval, we'll have to follow on it yet. But we haven't even applied, for example, for a grading permit yet. We wouldn't do that until we got zoning approval. So in essence, it's premature, I'm not saying that these aren't legitimate issues, but it's premature to be addressing them now. We have, however, even though we haven't filed an application, as a courtesy to the township, responded and provided a great deal of information to West Solray, and we'll continue to do that. But actually, this issue came up in the appeal of the Augustine matter, and the court said those are technical issues; they're not to be addressed during the conditional use stage. This happens at a later date. So, again, Mr. Metz in particular has interacted a good bit with Lennox and Solray and will continue to do so. But at this point, it's just premature to get into that level of detail. And that's what Judge Lucas, no relation to this Lucas, said in the Augustine appeal.
In your review of the plans, our ordinance 9-2011, the 22 items that are in there, have they met those items,
Yes.
in your opinion?
Yes. Okay. What we do, if there isn't a comment, we don't.
Okay.
At that point, so.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out how we address. This one, but we can also address
I know it's jumping the gun a bit, but there is room, I'm assuming there's room on the site to expand the ponds, and I'm assuming the pipe material wouldn't be a large issue to revise.
We shouldn't have to expand the ponds to make these, the stormwater numbers work. There's some very conservative values that are placed into these calculations. And we go get stormwater reviews from the Department of Environmental Protection as part of these. And so it's kind of difficult when you're getting guidance from one review engineer telling you to model it, look at it one way, and then you've got another engineer telling you to do it another way. Sometimes it gets a little convoluted. First and foremost, we've got to get our state permits. And so that's, but I think we will be able to work through some of the issues. As far as the pipe goes, we certainly believe that corrugated plastic pipe works well. So we have anti-seep collars that are on that pipe to limit the amount of tracking on that pipe as well. So we feel that's an appropriate type of material to use in this situation. Then there's some of the details that we will work through. We're working on the geotech reports that we'll provide. And again, as Blaine said, we feel these are things that are kind of after zoning, but we want to show good faith that we are working through these issues as well.
Carl, is it accurate to say that the department, as part of your earth disturbance permit, encourages the use of wet ponds versus dry ponds?
Sure, and actually some of the details that were pointed out, so this has been a little bit of a debate with some of the review engineers at DEP. And certainly these soils in southwestern PA, typically you can't have infiltration basins that have groundwater within a couple feet of that basin. So we kind of rule out infiltration basins, which are the primary way to get a volume stormwater control. So we look to wet ponds as to providing that kind of volume control. And we had just a debate about, again, how we would model that, being whether it was a full pond full of water or it was an empty pond. And we've done both ways with DEP. Whichever review engineer we get, we kind of have to switch up gears and change the calculations. But there's a lot of conservative numbers in these approaches. We're using some high runoff coefficients for these locations where we don't really see those kind of runoffs from these big gravel paths that have a lot of void space in there. So, but again, we'll work with John and we'll get through these issues.
Would Range be interested in considering adding sound attenuation walls to both sites? It's something that's obviously, you meet requirements, but if there's issues after the work starts, it'd be easier to address those ahead of time by putting the walls up first and try to come back and do it second. Probably cheaper to do it first too. I think that's something, if somebody would disagree, we would recommend that would be something we would pass on to the supervisors as another additional use.
Yeah, it would certainly be a proactive approach and something that we have done before and would be willing to do again.
And just to add on, Dawson, we'd appreciate and not just put up walls for the sake of putting up walls, but to target the areas that potentially are more problematic.
So not to get any technical debate, because I'm by no means any expert on it, but about the Mr. Coldren's question about the pipe, is it Range's position that they're going to hold fast on the type of pipe that they're using, or is Range willing to conform with the township requirements for the sake of just being able to put that item aside?
Well, the steel pipe makes no sense to me. I don't even understand why you expect a smooth wall steel pipe in this situation. But yeah, I guess a reinforced concrete pipe, could be used. But again, typically, 9% of the outfall barrels installed in stormwater basins in Pennsylvania are going to be polyethylene pipe. So we'll do concrete if asked, but we would certainly, request a waiver from that requirement in lieu of that corrugated plastic pipe. But if we get turned down that waiver, we'll put in the concrete pipe.
What are you guys using on the existing pads that you have now in Cecil Township?
Everything's corrugated plastic.